2013 at 7:30 p.m. Ready? I call the meeting to order, November 6th, Planning Board, November 6th, 2013, 7:30 p.m., Memorial Town Hall. I don't know if you had a chance to look at the meeting, minutes of the meeting on October 2nd, 2013.
Yes, I did. I move we accept them.
Special permit with site plan approval for Mr. Labby on Linseed Road.
Yeah.
Site plan review for Southland Log Homes.
Move to accept them as printed.
Rooster crowing complaint, 39 King Street. And Mrs. Donaldson, 117 West Street.
I moved it.
You heard back from her, Wilma, at all regarding?
Yeah, we have a letter.
Heard back from Mrs. Donaldson? Oh. Okay, we'll finish the minutes if you haven't read them.
You got a motion over here.
You have a motion?
I seconded it. I motioned it. Put your hearing aid up.
Second.
Motion was made to accept the minutes of the meeting on October 2nd, 2013. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved. Let's see. We don't have any new applicants. We don't have any new business. We do have, I did get a call from Mr. Bowles about a movement of 6 feet on his property of a building. The buildings had to be 6 feet away from the two, and he said he was going to submit a new plan. He said it didn't require, he spoke with the building inspector, and it didn't require a formal meeting, but he was going to submit a new drawing to us. I haven't seen that. You haven't seen it either, have you, Wilma? So I guess I can give him a call and find out where it is.
And it's just a 6-foot change? It's
Yeah,
pretty-
something had to be
pretty small.
moved 6 feet.
Uh-huh.
So it wasn't a big deal. And he said, the building inspector said it
Yeah,
wasn't
but
a
he's
big
changing the whole hearing that was posted. I say he's got to go through it again.
deal. Even though he's only moving something 6 feet?
I don't care what he's doing. You had a hearing, you had the public here. They came here, they were happy with what we did, and now you're going to change it. You can't change it on yourself.
Okay, I'll call him and tell him we got to get him back on the board, get him before a formal meeting.
Do we know why the?
I think it had something to do with the fire inspection, the fire marshal,
Turn around or that kind
fire
of thing?
marshal and our fire chief.
Isn't that like a technicality, though?
I've heard a lot of other things too. I've heard that he's got to put water meters in every place and things like that. Is he changing all that or not?
I didn't say anything about the water
I know he
meters.
didn't. I wouldn't either.
He had to split the buildings because you can't have 6 units without firewalls. Now you have to have 3 units space and 3 units.
Sprinkler systems, right?
Yeah.
No, you can't have 6 units together without firewall in between.
Firewalls,
Oh,
yeah.
firewalls, oh, okay.
I just think maybe he should go through again or something. I don't know what he's doing. He's got to give us our plans. He's definitely not going to go by the same plans he's got. And that's the plans we okayed. That's the way I feel about it. So I'll abstain from voting on that.
Okay. I'll give him a call. The next item we had on here was marijuana dispensary.
That's good.
That's been tabled.
There's a meeting tomorrow morning at that committee for the first time. 9 o'clock.
With the Board of Selectmen.
No, the marijuana committee.
Marijuana committee. The meeting themselves.
Mosley, Leschko, myself, like,
And Ellen?
yeah, Ellen, yeah.
It's full
You
So
guys
that's
have-
that's tomorrow morning.
Do you guys have Cheetos at that meeting?
We're gonna get sampled from the evidence room.
Where you putting the lab up? Your house?
Oh, your house.
My
You got
garage.
enough room. Anyway, the first meeting's tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
All right.
So,
Greg, you've been following the back and forth in Whately and what they've decided to do and not do on this?
Sort of, not really too much.
Have it only in an industrial area, light industrial.
Well, that was I guess the farmer wanted to have it in an area that would otherwise, be in that zone, but it sounded like the town had voted against it, but he's looking to actually go through another route through the state, I guess, to get it approved.
Well, they'll decide on that, what zone it should be in. Probably light industrial. But anyway, that's probably what we'll discuss, so. Very good.
So as far as our, I don't know, I thought there was a moratorium on it. We weren't going to do anything.
Well,
Or is it-
this is the study committee. I'm just advisory from the
Right.
planning board. That's it. So I don't vote or nothing. So I guess we're just going to discuss it and,
Whether
from the
it's-
planning board to figure out what zone it should be in and so on, so. But I don't know how the moratorium works.
has anybody looked at where we have light industrial?
Route 5 and stuff. that
Yeah,
area.
well, all that, yeah, you have it up in the plain.
Well, that's what I'm thinking it's going to be in, but of course, that's for the committee to decide. So find out.
No,
tomorrow.
I realize that.
All right, well, can you, I guess we'll get copies of the notes from the
Yeah,
meeting?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Damn,
Has to be in the first of the year.
I don't know. They're just the first meeting just now.
Bylaw changes, I did get a email from Mr. Boyle on the select board asking us what he thought our changes were going, if we had any articles for the town meeting regarding bylaw changes. I told him that we would be discussing it, well, tonight and going forward, but I didn't give him any specifics. But, so you hear that we need to update our distribution. It's, mainly an administrative thing, from 8 copies to 17 copies. I did speak with, in regards to the noise bylaw for basically animals or unlawful noise prohibited. Bob Bartlett did submit it to Mr. Boudreau, the town administrator. And I did speak with him today, and that he was not sure. He did present it to the Board of Selectmen. However, he didn't know where they were on this, but he did feel that they would bring it before the town meeting.
Is this actually going to be a proposal of ours, or is this,
No,
was this
well,
done just by Bob as a
it-
courtesy?
He said he would, there is the town's bylaws there in there, which they talk about dogs barking and people having excessive noise at their residence, or having loud parties or anything like that, but
Phonograph.
it's very limited. And I felt that this was
Phonograph.
just a little more expansion on that particular bylaw.
But it would be something that the board would
Yeah, I
select,
think-
not necessarily a recommendation at this point from us.
Right, because if it's brought forward, you have like a public hearing for people.
So I just, having now had a chance to actually read through all of this, the only concern I have under animal noises is that there's no standard. It's pretty much left up to whether or not the person feels that it disturbs their reasonable comfort or repose. And so under animals, cows are included. Now, I know we only have one dairy farm left in town, but there could be a new neighbor or someone move on to Depot Road who maybe actually doesn't mind the cow noise, but has a problem with
The odor.
no, or the odor, or for that matter, just the keeping of, you know, the Humane Society's been after livestock operations for ages. And there's lots of, you know, issues associated with dairy farming that some people have a problem with, and this would be an avenue for someone to get, perhaps register complaints. And I'm just concerned that it might be too expansive, particularly since we are a right to farm community. We are a farming community. And now I know in this particular setting, we're talking about chickens and a rooster in a residential setting. And I wonder if there could be some way that we could imply in here that this is, you know, in a non-farm setting. So if somebody happens to have a cow in their backyard or a horse or whatever, but it's not on a farm, I'm just concerned that since they're, even in the radio, phonograph, shouting or whistling, there's no decibel limits in here. So it's all up to whether or not, you know, it could just, you know, I'm not saying this is the case in this situation, but it could be that the person just doesn't like the person living next door to them.
Right.
And so they're looking for anything that they can get at to, you know, get at whatever it is they do, whether that's listening to the ball game in their radio, on the radio in the afternoon. They could say, well, that's too loud, have the police over. And in particular, the cows being listed as one of the animals, I'm just concerned that, you know, right now, everyone that lives around the Williams farm are probably very farm-oriented and enjoy it, but someone could move in there and take offense, just like they did to the bell in the church tower here many years ago. And so that would be my concern about the way it's presented right now.
I think, but you know, I think you've got to have more than one complaint on the same item to set up an ordinance. That's the way I feel about it. Just because one person is complaining, really we shouldn't go make bylaws for them.
Well, I mean, we don't,
I know that, but you know, we're going to do it on the rooster. And nobody else is complaining in that area about the rooster, except one person.
yeah.
Now, is this what the town is for? If one complaint comes in, we keep having ordinances, we could have 3,000 ordinances.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus the
That's a
fine
good
is pretty
point.
steep, $300. I mean, what happens, what do you do with the rooster? I mean, $300 every half
You eat
hour?
them, you eat them.
What?
Well,
Well, anyway,
No, I'm just thinking that maybe when you do set up a statute, there should be more than one involved, one complaint.
well, okay,
But-
that's good. I agree with you there. I also agree that what
Don't
if
have to.
next year somebody else is complaining about a mooing cow or
Or a pig, you
or
know.
a pig or some other in another part of town. I mean, we don't have. It appeared to me from the town bylaws that we don't have anything that a citizen can have anybody enforce anything. And I think that maybe we need to, maybe this isn't the way to go. I don't know. I felt something should have been done. I mean, a person has the right to be able to have a certain amount of peace and quiet,
Yeah, I agree.
and that it's fallen upon deaf ears and everybody in the town. He called the police chief. It's not my problem. Called the building or the zoning enforcement officer. Not my problem. Called the animal control officer. You know, so, you know, I felt that,
Did they call you?
well, yeah, he came to the meeting twice.
I guess
So I guess he is complaining, you know, I mean, so where does a citizen, what is a citizen's recourse? Where does he go? Or he or she or whatever.
Well, I guess since we commingle agriculture and residential in this town, I mean, historically it's been commingled, and we have in our planning, I mean, we have a rural residential zone, and actually we allow agriculture in virtually every zone. And I think that agriculture is an important part, obviously a very important part of the community. So I would just be concerned that anything we do might then create a situation. Here we've got a situation where, I mean, it's a residential unit that has chickens and a rooster, whatever, and you know, where do you draw the line between that and then someone complaining that, well, your cow was mooing last night and that really bothers me. So, I mean, that's a business that could shut down that entire business. Now, you know, I'm not sure we've ever referred anything to the Ag Commission, but we do have the Ag Commission in town. We could ask them to look into what other communities maybe have done that have more of an agricultural base. I mean, I'm a little surprised that this is the bylaw
this
in
is pretty
Hadley,
much-
because
this-
Hadley is a big
yeah,
farming town.
Right, right. So I don't know who, and I mean, I don't know who wrote this, but,
Yeah.
you know, this was just a draft. I thought $300 was pretty steep.
I know that is, yeah.
So,
It just seems too subjective right now in that it
Yeah.
shall disturb the reasonable comfort or repose of any person. I mean, you know, I'm not a Red Sox fan. If my neighbor is listening to the Red Sox game, I could say, well, that's bothering my comfort zone, you know?
yeah, I agree.
I have to listen to polkas every so often.
No, really, you know, it should really, you know, this whole thing should really be the police department. He should go up there a couple of times and say, you know, you're causing a nuisance, and then go, you know, then that's it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, I agree with you, Bob, with the bylaw. I mean, you're really restricted. I mean, you know, like you said, the cows or anything. I mean, you know, right? Anybody could complain. Mm-hmm. And the farm, you know, you have by right farm. I don't know. I think we have to, you know, think, you know.
If you like, I could have the Ag Commission take some time and dig
Sure.
into this some more.
That would be, I think that would be beneficial for all, you know.
I just think we gotta put more thought into it.
Yeah. Well, I know that this has been addressed a lot in eastern Massachusetts, where you have a lot more non-farm.
Yeah, but they're having them in apartments and stuff.
Right,
Got 'em down the
right.
Holyoke.
But at a minimum, we might be able to find something that we can then adapt and that is has a little more clarity than this. That would be my concern.
This is kind of a rough rule,
Yeah.
Hadley.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty steep.
Yeah.
And you know, this was a draft, and, you know,
That's all, huh?
that's, when I talked about it the first time, you know, here's some guidelines. We don't necessarily have to, you know, doesn't have to necessarily be a $300 fine. And I didn't think about the, you know, the decibel, you know, any decibel noises, because we don't talk about that. I don't even think it talks about it in the existing bylaws regarding,
Right.
you know, if I have a party at my house, you know, I can have 2 cars there, and the next door neighbor doesn't like it because I always have 1 car, and, you know, now there's 2 cars parked in front of your house.
Right.
You know, that kind of a thing, so.
No, it just bothers me that you got one person complaining.
No, I know.
And nobody else
I
complains.
know, but I think my
And
feeling
so you
was,
wonder.
what happens, now he gets out and he starts complaining, and then other people, maybe somebody else has a noise complaint, and they just haven't brought it to our attention.
Well, they could,
You know, I know they could, but,
but I'm just saying, why wasn't somebody else up there complaining?
I don't know.
There's people just as close as they are
Yeah.
to all that noise.
Well, we can
If
withdraw
there is
it then
any.
if
All right.
if the
Okay, so
board
we
feels that strongly about it. I'd say, let the Board of Selectmen take a look at it and see what their thoughts are. And if we could also have the Agricultural Commission
Sure, let them study on it.
look into,
I just think this is a pretty stiff,
Yeah, I definitely think other committees should be involved.
We have a meeting we have our next meeting is the last Tuesday in November. I'll bring it up with the committee then, and I'll do some research before that.
you still got time before town meeting.
yeah.
anyway.
All right, let's go on to the
All
next.
right, so it's a work in progress.
Okay.
Mixed-use bylaw, is that the same thing from that last meeting, town meeting?
The what?
The mixed-use bylaw, is that from the last town
Yeah,
meeting?
yes.
They just the same thing?
That's
or-
in the folder here somewhere, right here.
I forgot what happened. Why, at the last town meeting, they tabled it?
Well, it got defeated. Nobody
Got
wanted
defeated,
to.
they
Oh,
didn't want
defeated,
it.
oh,
They didn't
okay.
want a mixed use.
I thought it was tabled. So they're,
We,
Same thing, they defeated it.
so they're bringing it back again.
well, we had talked to Chris Curtis, right, about maybe talking with Larry
Yeah.
and see what his specific concerns were and if they could be addressed. And it seemed like, from our conversation with Chris, and also I think all of us were at that town meeting, there was a lot of just misunderstanding about the bylaw and what it actually would do and not do.
Yeah. So I guess I did not get contact. I did not call him, Mr. Grossman, because Wilma had requested to see if he could be here tonight, but he was out of town. And I had.
Larry?
Yeah, I haven't spoke to him. So that was one thing. I don't know, I guess we could try to get him on the agenda for next month and see if he could speak to us regarding his concerns, his likes or dislikes regarding the mixed-use bylaw. Now, Greg, you said who's going to resubmit that, the town?
Oh, I don't know, the mixed use, I don't know. We submitted it
It was
originally.
basically to update our existing
Right.
bylaws.
That's what it was, yeah.
Right. to
They didn't want it
conform
though.
more with the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission's guidelines for
Mixed use.
smart growth and things of that nature for the future. So,
Should we see if Chris, I don't know what our contract or what our arrangement is with Pioneer Valley Planning, if Chris could be at that meeting as well? If we knew that Larry Grossman could attend?
They have grants and stuff, and then they come up and do work.
And what about Jeff? Wasn't Jeff Boyle interested in this too? Or am I dreaming?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought he was interested because I think he mentioned something before the town meeting about the mixed use thing.
and the people don't think we need the
yeah,
crowd
if you
every.
could give him a call or send him an email and ask him, but only if Mr. Grossman's not going to be here, there's no sense for him to come. So we'll schedule that for December 4th.
Can we ask Wilma to, if we do get Larry to come, to send us what that draft looked like beforehand?
Okay. Solar Electric Cooperative, remove as right of siting, amend definitions, 9.632. So
What is that?
I guess that's more of an admin change.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's I don't know if any of us have it right in front of us, but actually it was brought to my attention that with one of the changes that was made during your discussions with the Energy Committee, and that there was, there's inconsistency between the front half of the table of
okay.
use.
All right, I remember now.
That just needs to be
Yeah, all right.
fixed.
I do
Yeah,
remember
let's
that.
see, I think that's what the board.
See, when you work for the town, your mind gets boggled.
And this would be-
Yeah, here it is.
Got it.
Now that shows up in two different parts here in the green communities
December 4th.
distribution, but you probably noticed it in.
Yeah.
Now, is there a conflict here?
That's what I think Jeff is asking,
That
is
is what
whether or
he's
not,
asking.
yes, if there's a conflict. I would need to go through this and see, but
Purchase only fuel-efficient vehicles.
Yeah, okay.
What's that, a snow shovel?
Yeah.
Asked Bob Bartlett, and he said he didn't think there was.
here.
So this list of 17, are we on to that subject yet?
Well, we briefly talked about it, but I did not see this piece of paper here.
I mean, do we, Do they really want handies out to everybody? We're gonna use a ream of paper every time we have a hearing.
Well,
I don't know what you're saying. You don't want the 17 copies, I know,
Oh,
a lot.
what,
It's up to the petitioner to do it, I would assume. But not come in and use our machines here.
No, they would have to furnish the applicant. The
Yeah,
applicant would
they'd have to go
furnish
to Staples or someplace and do it, wherever.
it. Yeah. But apparently, we do need to do it, huh?
wouldn't it be better
The
just?
statue,
I
yes.
mean, maybe because like Corey's right about paper and stuff. I mean, maybe, they should get a letter, that we're gonna have, a hearing, right? Or whatever. And then if any of these boards wanna, request
To read it.
to read the materials, then maybe that would be, because what are they gonna do
That's the
about it?
way it's not written up that way.
Really? Well, I mean, what is, like, say, the,
Well, the law is written up, so everybody on a committee gets one.
All those departments.
See?
The committee.
Just like us, we get 5
you
of them.
take like the Hatfield redevelopment authority, I mean, where are they
Bylaw
put all these things?
specifically says the Building Inspector, Board of Health, Conservation Commission, Industrial Development Commission, Fire Department, Police
The
Department.
current one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you had new ones, I guess you'd go to more than 17.
Well, whatever.
I don't care, but I want to have some forests left.
Wilma, on page, paragraph 3, there's the sentence ends. Is there something chopped off?
Really? I don't have my copy here. so-
The third,
Yeah, that program was weird. We did it. It pulled it apart. Thank you. I'll fix it.
what is it a lack of? You know?
So that's 5.45.
Here, Catherine, look. There it is.
There you got it, see?
This shall be deemed to be like,
Oh, planning board gets 6 of them.
opposition, the word opposition.
Lack of opposition. To be,
To be
to
lack
be,
of
to
opposition.
be lack of opposition. Wow, that's different.
Well, that says if we don't get it back in 30 days, and
No.
anything, then
Okay.
it's resolved as no issue. Thank you, Paul. I'll fix that.
So is this a Word document with an Excel,
Yes,
this
and I
thing in,
had-
this
I
form
had a
inside
new
of it?
computer, and for some reason,
Keeps chopping it off?
gave me problems. I think I'll have to redo it.
So Paul, I figured out the solar thing. I can explain that, what the issue is, so everyone. So in the bylaw, the solar, there are 4 areas that are considered. There's the solar energy as of right siting. Then there's the solar electric cooperative, which is as of right siting, which I guess was a compromise that was struck with the Energy Committee.
Excuse me, what is right siding?
As of right citing, meaning that you have an as of
Citing.
right to cite that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not siding.
Then
No, I
there's
know.
solar energy medium scale ground mounted installation, which requires a special permit with site plan approval and site plan review. And then there's a solar energy large scale ground mount installation, which again requires special permit with site plan approval and site plan review. But in the table of use, under roof or ground mount solar electric cooperative, it still says the notation is for site plan approval and site plan review. But it's an as of right citing. So the table of use needs to be corrected and say basically yes, because the notes are correct. It says as of right citing, but it's the note is correct, but the actual designation here still has it as site plan approval and site plan review, which is not the case up here. And so looking at the green communities criteria, it would seem as if this change, if anything, gets us more in line with green community, because that's provide as of right siting in designated locations for renewable energy. It doesn't mean all locations, but it says in designated locations, which of course we're doing that in 2. And then the criterion 2, which is adopt an expedited application and permit process for as of right energy facilities. So presumably we would do that or have that. So to Jeff Boyle's question, it doesn't appear as if the change, the correction, and it's not a change, it's a technical correction in that the text and the table of use are not consistent.
So the text is okay.
The text is okay, but the table of use is incorrect.
Right.
So the table of use and what needs to be changed on it, which area?
It's, well, you have it C as yes,
Yep,
but in this one it had, see, it's got it SPA.
all right. So is that
Yeah.
6.24?
6.24. But yet it's, you have it there.
So that was changed because this is what went to the Attorney General.
So it did get
But we
changed.
don't know if it's approved yet.
No.
But nevertheless, so this would be in conformance with the text.
With the text, right.
So somebody.
Yeah, so this, whatever, wherever, when this document, this is the warrant, this is the warrant article. So this is what was handed out at town meeting.
Yeah.
And again, it was after the meeting, a resident brought this to my attention and said, you know, I was reading through this more closely and it looks like the table of use and the text are not the same. And when I,
What changed in that went to the Attorney General's office?
I don't know. I don't know when it got changed. Brand new news.
but when I brought it to our attention, Bob said, oh yeah, that's right. This was something you guys worked out with the Energy Committee and the public, that citizens group that was
Yeah.
working on this, and so.
Then I'll make a copy of this and put it in front of Jeff Boyle.
Okay.
I'll check to see if this has been
Energy
approved by the
Committee,
Attorney
who's
General.
that?
Those were the latest May 14th, 2013
I thought it's been dissolved.
changes.
I thought so, I could be wrong.
Approval.
Maybe that's the case.
And Edwina couldn't find anything that indicated it's been approved, and Lydia was out today. But I'll check.
Well, they were arguing with us that
So a little noom got in there.
So here, I took your thing.
Actually got that in chronological order. Yeah, now.
Vote yes if amended.
Yep. See, that's what the Energy
And see,
Committee
there's-
had for the town meeting. And I threw it in here because I thought it was pertinent to see what did get, I think I'm right, I think that's what they had.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something.
Yeah.
So the next thing is Mrs. Donaldson's zoning change? That's just what she
so we
wants.
worked on it. We did that, didn't we?
No,
There's no change.
She,
Not this.
she
Yeah, I
came,
think we're
had her
okay there.
lawyer come and ask us,
Or
but
the
we
What they
haven't.
could do.
She sent this,
That's that.
the letter on Donaldson's property request on West Street. The letter was dated yesterday. She sent it to the selectmen. So we haven't gotten this from the selectmen then to
I
say,
just put it in there for your information.
okay.
yeah, that's her petition.
So then, at the next meeting, we'll look at it and say, we recommend
Yeah, I mean,
an approval and then,
it's their property, so
and then,
it must be consistent with the. with
Submit
all
that
the
as an
zoning in
article.
that area anyway, right?
Yeah,
Good. All right.
that's what this is all about. Okay.
but this wouldn't require, I mean, we would just
Nothing
take
for
it,
you to do
and
at
go
this point.
forward to the, we'd approve it,
Yeah.
because the rest of the property's what, light industrial?
Well, yeah, but then they would just vote on that
They'll
particular
have to have a
property.
hearing.
Yeah, hearing, yeah, and then a town meeting.
But we still have to schedule it as a public hearing,
Yeah,
right?
yep, mhm,
It's
absolutely.
for the
yeah.
fully public.
Okay, so can we got time to do that for the next meeting?
How many,
We'll
have
have to
30
wait till we hear
days.
from selectmen.
Oh, that's right, officially, we haven't gotten it from the selectmen.
Right.
Who's she listening to anyway? On this, who is she listening to? Does she really want light industrial?
They have to sell their property.
She wants to sell the whole piece of property.
I know, but you could have it residential.
Yeah,
Once you get over where the house is, where it's wet, it becomes dry.
Yeah, apparently, if I remember from a previous meeting on this, her realtor has suggested that they do this because the back of the property is
LI.
LI. And I remember this amongst many of them when we were doing that on the master plan committee. We basically memorialized properties that were residential. So you have a situation like this where there's a residential site in front of a light industrial.
Oh, I know she shouldn't have two there. I agree there.
Yeah, I agree.
But does she really want that?
Yeah,
She does.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think her position was that someone buying it might find that interesting for light industrial.
I just think that she's listening to somebody and wasn't really convinced. That's the way I feel about.
I think it's to make it more marketable, right, obviously?
Well, that's what the real estate person is saying. But if she get another one, he might go the other way. Or he or she or, that's all. I just hope she's going the right direction.
For me, anyway, when these come up, and I think that in this case, it's probably not that much of a challenge, is that we look at them based on what the area zoning is, and not necessarily because someone says, hey, I want to be light industrial, or I want to be residential, or, I want to be commercial, but rather how does it fit? And in this case, the rest of her property, right, is light industrial, and she's surrounded by, or pretty
No,
much,
I agree she should be one, let's put it that way.
right.
I don't argue that.
yeah.
But whether she's going to the right one, I just hope she is.
Yeah.
So they own this big hunk of property, and there's a carved out space that's,
Well, see,
yeah, I remember
there's
that.
it's basically in two tax parcels, is what it comes down to. And so
That's the residence.
the residence is here on West Street, and then the other tax parcel is light industrial.
Yeah,
And so,
you can't get there.
right, you can't get, well, you can.
Buy that.
You could buy this if it was combined with the neighbor's light industrial parcel. So that requires basically someone buying both parcels, because that has frontage on West Street. When we did this, we weren't going to necessarily turn someone's residential unit into a light industrial. So that was RR, and then the other one was light industrial, LI. But, so what she's, I guess, asking is so that they can, because I guess the thought was you try and do this as much as you can without looking at tax parcels. And the property next to it, that whole area there is light industrial, but not owned by her.
Yeah. So she's probably just wanting to
She wants to sell, period.
sell it
Right.
and go on with her life.
Right.
She's not gonna stay there in the house.
And this doesn't give, and there's no access,
To
there's
that
no
back
road
part.
frontage to the back property without buying or making some kind of deal with the neighbor.
Well, she's got a major job to do with her septic system too. For the house. Is it sitting right in the pond?
Oh.
But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Wow. So now she's gotta get it approved by the town in May, and then, I don't know if it's still on the market or not on the market.
Yeah, I
Well, that'll be up to her to decide.
think it's on the market, sure.
So So, okay. Well, any other new business that anybody has, or unfinished business?
No,
Move to adjourn.
December 4th, huh?
Any other questions, concerns? We have a motion to adjourn,
Yeah,
Second,
December 4th, our next meeting?
December 4th.
Is that December 4th? Okay.
All those in
do
favor,
we
aye.
need that meeting?
Well, we might be hearing from Mrs. Donaldson.
Oh, and what about bowls?
Got to get Bowles here.
And we might have Chris Curtis and Larry Grossman in.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They should have been here tonight.
All right.
Okay.
Together with Barry wasn't
Yeah.
here.